Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. It's Des here, who's ready for Thursday Thoughts, the live questions and answers. Looking forward to getting stuck into those today. Just before I start, just like to say, I hope you've had a great week. I hope everybody's enjoying the fantastic weather. Really picked up, hasn't it? Really seems to have put people in good spirits. Personally, being able to get out there, getting plenty of activity, whilst the injury frustration lingers on. You know, it's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? The groups have come back. We're really enjoying sort of not having the weather sort of put anyone off, and it's making for some great spirit when people turn up. So really sort of pleased with that. Just been out for a walk, always here to encourage activity, whether it's a Thursday or any other day of the week. Just been out for a walk, tied it in with a short meeting, looking to help somebody with one of their projects. So really uplifting, really nice to do, you know, and of course getting in a couple of miles. It's always important, isn't it? Not done that much today, whilst I'm having a great week, really busy, you know, all things do running, all things group activity and DOdaily, and of course a bit of work in between all that. So it's important for me to sort of get out there. You know, I'm really feeling tired as well from the long walk on Bank Holiday Monday, but it was definitely worth it. Whilst it's tired me out, it seems to be sending me to sleep early, something I definitely need. You know, it still feels really good to have done it, and keep just topping it up as the week goes on. You know, just been out and done 1.5 miles around the river. You know, like I say, chatting to somebody, chatting about all things positive. You know, it's put me in a great frame of mind, made me sort of look forward to what's coming, what's ahead, all the things I've got planned for the future. That they'll sort of arrive in due course. But for today, of course, it's all about these questions that have been posted. Thanks to the guys that have done that. Really appreciate it. Of course, I try and put myself out for others all the time. And this is the one bit of feedback I look for throughout the week, you know, just some questions to go at, to drive some content on DOdaily, you know, just to sort of keep talking about the things I'm trying to encourage, to keep talking about tackling the pandemic and the situation, keep trying to be positive and motivate and inspire people to do things with a little bit more clarity. I'm not saying I know it all, because I most definitely don't. You know, what I do, what I am is normal. You know, just a normal person who deals with all the normal ups and downs that life throws at us. And whether it is through activity or life or relationships or family, you know, we all have to deal with it, don't we? During this pandemic, it's been really tough. So all I'm trying to do on a Thursday is offer a bit of advice, a bit of support and encouragement to keep ticking on, you know, to keep moving forward. And when things don't quite go so well, I look to sort of encourage people to dust themselves down and go again. Do a bit of coaching. I'm actually doing it straight after today's video at 7 o'clock. And I always say to the guys, if it didn't quite work out, if you didn't quite reach your targets or do what you wanted to do, it's just dust yourself down and go again, because then we've got another target to aim at, haven't we? And that's all it's about. It's just, nobody's perfect. Nobody knows everything. Nobody always sets the best example. What I'm trying to do is just offer some sort of thoughts on how I tackle it. Maybe you'll pick something up from it. Maybe you'll realize that that's not the way for you. You know, it's just a few sort of comments and ideas and thoughts about the way I approach things day on day, in my aim to encourage people to just be that little bit more positive. And that's all I'm trying to do. So, of course, we always start with last week's throwback question. With the fine weather sort of continuing, managed to watch a bit of cricket this afternoon as well and have a little nap. So it definitely feels like cricket season again, something I'm definitely looking forward to. But of course, last week I asked the throwback, what will the improving weather do to assist your activity levels? Got a few responses to this, mainly people saying that they're going to have to rethink when they do it. They don't want to go out in the middle of the day. That's kind of standard advice, isn't it? When the weather picks up, anybody who's into activity and into running and all these kind of things will make that sort of suggestion to sort of just rethink when you do it, you know, whether it's early morning late at night. It's important just to perhaps go out when it's a little bit cooler. I did a video a while ago on measures we can take. I'll try and find that out and put it onto the comments. Measures we can take to sort of combat the heat when we go out to do our activity. So check that out. But like I say, that was the main answer. There was a couple of others. Dawn said that due to her diabetes, type 1 diabetes, that sometimes when she goes out in the heat, she doesn't really like it when it picks up. She prefers running in the winter when it's cooler, because the heat can sort of mess about with her blood sugar levels, and she's more inclined to have an hypo. So again, whilst that's not quite a negative impact of it, a positive impact, sorry, it's definitely the weather having an impact and rethinking it. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help people sort of think out how they're going to approach the difference in temperatures, because I know it's something that definitely sort of impacts me. From my point of view, I always find it really, really tough in the summer. That said, I tend to perform a little bit better. There's reasons for that, again, perhaps to talk about on a different episode. But again, it's nice once you've done it, and you've. I really do like going out in the sun, despite the fact it seems to take your breath. I always say, and I learned this from football, in the summer, it works on your lungs and your breathing. In the winter, it works on your legs, the boggy grounds and the heavy football pitches. Back in the day, I used to do that. It's working on different kind of fitness, building strength and stamina in two different ways. So that's how it kind of impacts me. Kay says she's more likely now to get up in the morning and go out and do her activity. She's really pleased about that. She got up this morning and went and did it. And got all the steps in. So while she's doing the Do Running Challenge of last man standing, that's important and makes her comfortable later in the day knowing she's done it. But it's great for her to attack the day for all the reasons I talk about on Wake Up to Walk. Of course, that's coming tomorrow. All those reasons about getting the day off to a fly, and if she's got that in the tank early, it sets her up. She couldn't stop. Despite everything I've said through DOdaily, and she is an avid watcher because she has to be, she couldn't stop telling me the other day when she got up for a walk that she's got so much from it. She's been really much more productive. I've been sort of saying this throughout, but sometimes we have to go and do it for ourselves, don't we? We have to understand that that it's important to find different ways sometimes and to adapt to the situations around us. And that's all I was looking to achieve by asking that. Just, again, possibly helping people who might be unsure, might be new to activity or new to some of the things that we get involved in. So thanks for the feedback there. Really appreciate that. Really sort of grateful. And, of course, there'll be another throwback question at the end of today's episode. Moving into question 1. It's from Simon, and this one came in quite late, actually. Thanks for the question, Simon. What is your take on the latest travel restrictions announcement due to the COVID-19 pandemic? I was really pleased to get this question because I did actually have a little opinion on it. If people are not aware, today the government have announced that no country will be going onto the green list, which it was expected that several sort of popular destinations in Europe would be added to the green list, so we could go on our summer holidays, get on a plane and jet off to a beach. Who needs that now, eh, when we've got this fantastic weather? But it was expected. Of course, lots of people are looking forward to that. Lots of people want to get away. It's all part of looking after yourself and our health and well-being, to take a break and get some vitamin D. I'm always talking about that. So it's definitely something to look forward to. But unfortunately, the government actually took Portugal away from the green list, put them back on the red list. So people can't travel there either. So it was a bit of a kick in the teeth to those that were expecting to go away. I know 1 or 2 people who are going to Portugal, and they're going to be sort of really disappointed with the fact that they now can't go on holiday. But my opinion on all of this, to be honest, is basically whilst this might be unpopular, and I want to go away as much as anybody, I've got an event planned in Benidorm in November, which I talk about a lot through DOdaily, and how much the Do running community really enjoy that, and how much we make the most of a trip away and a half marathon. But my opinion is, whilst there's still restrictions, I don't get why anybody's travelling out the country. I don't want to sound like one of these people who says don't let anyone in, don't do this, because I'm absolutely open and inclusive to all. But I don't understand why when there's restrictions in place, that people are still travelling around. If there's restrictions placed on people within the UK, why are people even travelling, when the potential of spreading the disease? There's a lot got to be done. Every country is dealing with it differently. In some countries, the vaccination is not as popular as it is in the UK, and even in the UK, some people don't want that. So I just don't understand why travel is a major issue in all of this. Of course, I can understand the frustrations people are having booked holidays and losing out and not being able to get that chance to get away. But whilst there's a pandemic, whilst there's restrictions, I don't get it. I don't get a lot about the restrictions, and I don't say that we should be in lockdown. I'm not saying that we should or shouldn't. That's another question if somebody wants to ask that. But I just don't get why people are so concerned about travelling around whilst there's still restrictions placed upon us. Whilst they are loosening all the time, which is fantastic. It's enabled me to do a lot of the things I enjoy, and a lot of the people around me to do the things they enjoy. That's absolutely fantastic. But I really don't get I don't get why people are even allowed to travel. They talk about variants all the time and how much they're impacting things. Well, this is how things are getting spreaded about. This is how it spreaded initially, isn't it? Because it's thought not to have started in the UK. We all know that. So it got here somehow, and obviously it gets spread about by travel. So whilst there's still an issue, whilst there's still people who are reluctant to get vaccinated, of course I'll encourage that. I appreciate people's stance on not getting vaccinated, but that's completely up to them. I don't think restrictions should be placed on those who are vaccinated just because those who haven't refused to take it. If rules get changed to sort of allow people who've been vaccinated to do things, I'm all for that, because it's a choice at the end of the day, but then it's a choice by other people as well, isn't it? So that's my opinion on that. I don't want to be too controversial. If you've got anything to sort of add, please post it in the comments. I'd love to hear what you've got to say. I just think it's time to sit tight for a little bit. And myself personally, something I've not done for a while is get away in the UK. Over the last 14 months, when allowed, I've been to several new locations around the coast, and because I'm somebody who likes my activity, who likes getting out in the fresh air, living inland, that's really important for me, and it's been fantastic. I've gone exploring and stumbled across some amazing places and walks and things like that. So just consider the options, consider the alternatives, and perhaps consider that if we're not so eager and not so frustrated, and we get on top of this situation, we'll get there a bit sooner. And before we know it, we'll be able to do absolutely what we want. So thanks for that question, Simon. As you heard there, I have plenty to say. Moving on to question 2. This was something that somebody asked me yesterday. I asked if I could use it on DOdaily. Somebody said to me, do you think that Robin Hood half marathon, that's supposed to say, and other autumn events will go ahead? Of course, I had the running group last night, what's based here in Nottingham, which I host. And people turned up, and of course the excitement's building, isn't it? We're all getting the opportunity to do what we enjoy, get out for a run. Some guys was out walking. We get the chance to sort of mix in a COVID compliant environment and enjoy our surroundings, and enjoy people again. That's important, isn't it? Whilst we were talking about holidays before, I think the first thing to enjoy is each other, because whilst sometimes we need a break from each other, just not having it for so long has just made me realise how important it is to come back together. And these mass participation events, I've wrote blogs on this before. I'll try and find that as well and post it in the links. Something I wrote a couple of years ago, way before the pandemic, of how mass participation events are so important. so important to sort of for mental health and for feel good in an area. The Robin Hood is a huge marathon, over 10,000 participants in Nottingham. In the last week of September, the city comes out to support it. For somebody like myself, it was my first event. I got to run the streets. I know so well, being proud of Nottingham. I'm actually now an ambassador for the event as well. I like to sort of pass the message on of when it is and how people can get involved and encourage people to get involved. So it's a big thing. These things are something to really, really look forward to. And a new member to the group sort of asked this question, do I think it will definitely go ahead? I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty sure. Whilst I am an ambassador, I'm not a decision maker. I'm not part of it, but I know a lot of work has been put in to ensure that it does go ahead, and they're really sort of keen on getting sign-ups and getting people involved. There's lots of social media and lots of plans that put in place. I kind of help them out a little bit in terms of the different road layout in the city, and I feel if they've got that far, and if they've got that deep into things and they're still sort of taking bookings at this point, I'm sure they're really, really confident. I think the doubt sort of creeps in. One or two events have almost suggested that there might be an issue. I've seen a little issue around the Great North Run and insurance. What we have to remember is the Great North Run is actually the biggest half marathon in the world. You're looking at 60,000 people, and in a pandemic, you can kind of understand a pandemic which is sort of spreading a disease around, spreading the virus. You can understand the more and more people come together that insurance is going to be difficult to get. Don't know much more than that, but hopefully that goes ahead as well, because I'm planning to do it. There's also another event, the Bath Half Marathon, which people think is a direct result of COVID. If you read that's a week before Robin Hood. If you read the sort of write-up on that, it's actually about roadworks and different things going off in Bath at that time, and things like that. So yeah, in terms of do I think it'll go ahead? Almost definitely, without knowing anything, without sort of being in the know. I'm really confident, really sort of gearing my mind towards that. I've mentioned already lots of times that I've got lots of events planned for the autumn, and whilst I'm really frustrated with this injury now, it's part of the frustration that I'm really keen to get going, because I'm not confident to go ahead. I'm starting to panic that I've got enough time. I will have, I'll make it work. I'll make sure I'm right before, but I'm definitely sort of looking forward to doing them. And again, like I say, check that blog out, what I wrote about mass participation events and how important they are to a city. In my city, in Nottingham, we've seen them sort of decline, if anything, over the past couple of years, and whilst the Robin Hood is an ever-present, the Robin Hood Half Marathon event, it does so much, in bringing people together, whether it's runners, walkers, volunteers, spectators. There's different ways to get people involved. It's not all about the running, it's not all about just about the taking part. It's the sort of whole experience, the income it brings to the area, the people spending money and making an area sort of vibrant and thriving. And normally half marathons are run on a Sunday morning, so they don't impact too much either. So do check that out, but I'm definitely confident they'll go ahead. Thank you for the question, and thank you for joining us, Catherine. And the third question today, I try not to talk about football too much. It's my real passion. I think if I did a YouTube channel about football, it'd probably be just a little bit more successful. Probably know more about that than the things I'm doing. But this is my passion. This is what I want to talk about, all sorts of things, and well-being and health and physical activity. But somebody asked me a question about football, so of course I'm going to answer it. I do say you can ask me absolutely anything. How do you think England will get on in the Euros, considering the squad Gareth Southgate has chosen? I'm not sure what Dawn means there by saying considering the squad Gareth Southgate has chosen. It possibly means she doesn't agree with some of it, or doesn't think it's a good squad. How do I think England will get on? I think they'll do really, really well, to be honest. And I'm not just being positive for the sake of it. The one thing sometimes I struggle to get positive is football, Forest and England, and sort of thinking how that we're going to do this. You know, I've been disappointed too many times already. I'm too old and wise to think that we're going to go and storm through these things and bring the trophy home. But what we have got is a real good crop of young players, you know, really excited about the attacking players especially. So I think if it all works out, we could do quite well. Potentially, I'd expect at least the semi-final. I don't think we'll quite win it. I think experience of one of the bigger nations, maybe France or Germany, you know, Belgium, might just catch up with us in the end. We've got a really inexperienced team, but we've got some really, really good top players, and that's something we've not said for a long time. Do you know, Harry Kane is probably the best number 9 in the world. He'd get into anybody's team. You know, and around him, like Phil Foden and Jack Grealish, you know, really sort of exciting prospects. And I'm sure over the summer, for those who aren't into football, these names are going to become sort of household names, because I really do fancy us to give it a good crack. I do think we could win it, but I think we might just come up short. So I'd expect semi-finals, maybe the final, but it's probably just a little bit too soon. If the progress of these youngsters really sort of carries on, I can see us going on to the World Cup and doing really well. The thing with the Euros, it's always a bit of it can be a bit of an anomaly sometimes in terms of the ranking and of perceived expectations. You know, last time we saw Wales do quite well in the competition, having not qualified for a long time, and this time we've got all sorts of different teams. It's not quite as strong as the World Cup, is it? So sometimes you get a bit of a surprise. I remember sort of getting into football, Denmark won the Euros, having not qualified and only getting in by default. So I think there'll be 1 or 2 surprises. I think England will do quite well, but I think they'll just come up short on experience and perhaps lacking at the back a little bit. I'm not confident with the centre-backs particularly. I know there's a big debate around football at the moment about 4 right-backs and things like that, but that just shows the depth of talent, you know, and it just shows that we've got a real chance. Without these guys having done too much too soon, it might just be the time when the expectations are level is low and they can give it a real go, you know, and give it a real crack and hopefully give us a summer to remember. You know, we missed out on it last year, so it's important to make the absolute most of it. One other thing I just thought of, what might help us is home advantage. Of course, a lot of the stadiums being used in different countries. A bit bizarre during a pandemic, you know, the worst possible time to break down the tournament like that in my mind, but it is what it is. You know, it was planned a long time before that. But Wembley, of course, is a massive advantage to England. They don't lose very many games there and the finals there. So who knows? It could be like 1966 all over again. And if they do win it, I remember at the World Cup in 2018 when they did really well, they got to the semi-final. It created a real buzz when the nation was going through a tough time, a really difficult time with Brexit and division. And of course, we've had it even worse this time. You know, there's a lot of division. There's a lot of sort of, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. But it's criticism, and people will look at me and go, whatever. But it does. It really sort of puts people in a good spirit. If the national team of the national sport's doing well, you know, that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? So hopefully, fingers crossed, they sort of give us something to shout about, and my predictions become reality. If they do, I'll be more than happy. It gives definitely looking forward to it, you know, getting out on these hot days, you know, and cheering the lads on. So really, really grateful for those questions. You know, a mixture there, like I always say, it doesn't have to be about activity. It doesn't have to be about anything in particular. You know, it's just sort of things you've got on your mind, things that you're wondering. You know, I ask myself a million questions every single day, you know, and I'd love to sort of input into something like this. I do input on other people's things. I ask them questions, I get involved. And that's all I'm looking for you to do, guys. I really appreciate those who got involved today. It's I really sort of couldn't do it without that kind of input. Of course, I can't answer questions that aren't there. So it's fantastic to receive that support. I'll keep sort of working away at it. What I will say, DOdaily next week, I am looking to change things a little bit. I'm always talking about evaluating and looking at where we are and what we do, you know, and how to make it work best. So for Monday, I'm going to be doing Monday to Fridays do daily. It's going to go on at 8 p.m. It's going to be available from then. Working to the same sort of structure, working off the different daily motivations, a few thoughts around that, a few thoughts about what I'm doing and what's available to take part in. If you're activity minded, like I say, you don't have to be. It's just almost like a sounding ground for to get involved in, to offer some opinion or thoughts, you know. But looking to sort of do that a little bit later with the release it with lockdown easing. You know, it's brought on a lot more things for me to do around the groups and all the excitement around that. But it means I've just had to sort of think it through again, draw up a new strategy and go again. So we're looking to do it at 8 p.m. Monday to Thursday. Friday will be exactly the same. Of course, I'll be back in the morning for Wake Up to Walk. Really looking forward to rejoining the Robin Hood Way. Just outside Ravenshead, I'll be heading over to a place called Papplewick, taking on another 3 or 4 miles, adding to that tally, getting up towards 40 miles now, nearly a third of the way through. Really, really enjoy it. Like I spoke right at the start of the episode about getting up early and what Kay said and the benefits. I talk about those week in, week out to encourage people to do things similar, to find little challenges or little reasons to get up early. All I'm doing there is a reason to get out of bed and get out and do it, making myself accountable, you know, because when I do, it makes me feel fantastic for the day ahead. It makes me feel like I've achieved something over the week gone by. I talk about how I've been feeling. I kind of sum everything up and then prepare the weekend ahead in the knowledge that everything's done. I can sign it all off and I can do it safe in the knowledge that I've given it my best. And that's all we can do, isn't it, guys? We can give it our best. And talking about giving it my best, of course, I'll be back next Thursday to answer your questions. If you want to comment on anything that I've said today, please do. I'd love to receive further questions, comment on any of the answers I've given, whether you think I'm right, wrong, or talking absolute nonsense. You know, please offer them up. I'm going to sort of keep working away at this, keep working through your questions. Absolutely love a Thursday. Gets me completely out of my comfort zone, you know. And whilst, again, I'm trying to fit it into a busy schedule in between meetings and coaching, you know, it's got to be done. It's something that I take so much fun, really enjoy. Great selections of questions again. So please post yours in. Check out all the social media for what's going on in the Do Daily, Do Running community. The links have been going across the bottom now for a while. Email your questions to des@dorunning.org.uk. And, of course, I'll be back tomorrow for Wake Up to Walk. But just before I go, just before I sign off, a throwback question. Make sure you comment on this one. I'm asking for prediction. Based on Dawn's question, which stage of the competition do you think England will reach in the Euros? So just drop a comment. You know, let's see who's right at the end of it. Make it as detailed or as straightforward as you want to, whether it's first round, semi-finals, final, winners, whatever. Please let us know what your predictions are for the Euros. Love to get plenty of comments on that. It'd be great to look back at the end of the tournament and see who was right and who was wrong, who was positive and not quite so. It'd be fantastic sort of way to sort of create content through Do Daily. So, like I say, until tomorrow and Wake Up to Walk, look out for that. Really, really flying this week, guys. Keep staying involved. Keep tuned. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe, do all the usual things. And I'll be back at 7 a.m. to Wake Up to Walk. Just doing it.